today to talk about making pulley cards. And here's an example that I did. This uses this pulley mechanism to make it open. And on this particular one, I did use the Carte Noir paper and embellishments that Anna Griffin has. And I really like how that turned out. So we'll learn about different parts of this. And here's another one I have right here, which is for St. Patrick's Day. And on this one I used honeycombs. So when it opens up, the honeycombs open up. So we're going to talk about what you need. I have these pieces set out, and you can hand cut these, or one of my fellow California Griffinites, Marianne, has a Cricut file, which I will put a link to in the description. That'll cut all this out. It'll cut layering pieces for you, and it's fairly easy to cut by hand, but it's even easier with the Cricut if you have that. But you don't need it to do this. So you start with a piece. This is 5 by 9.5 inches, and you have a score at 7 inches right here. This is my sample piece. You have 2 slits, and these are 1 3/4 inches from each side, and there's 3/4 of an inch between. You want 2 slices in there so that this mechanism will slide easily through these. So this first slit is about 2 5/8 inches from the top. You don't necessarily need to have it precise. It just needs to be tall enough or down far enough so that this can move in it. So this is the piece that slides in there. And this one is 1.5 inches by 11.5 with a score at 5 1/4, another score at 10.5, and one at 11. This is a secondary piece, and it's 1.5 by 7.5 with a score at 3, a score at 3.5, a score at 6.5, and a score at 7.5. And this last piece is 1.5 by 3.5 with a score at 1/2, a score at 1.5, a score at 2, and a score at 3. So I will put a screenshot of this either at the beginning of the video or at the end, or you can just pause it now and take a picture for yourself of those pieces. So what we're going to do is talk about this one that I'm going to glue together. So we've got our 3 pieces. And if you want to do decoration in the background, like I've cut here, or I used on this one's a slimline die, and I cut it, sliced it so that it fits into this space right here. There's a little bit of a gap at the back of this one, but whatever you cut, this one I used the Lucky For You die at the back and cut out the center. You don't need to waste all that paper. You can use that die cut for something else, like maybe the back of your card. So anyway, on this one and the other one I'm gonna work on today, I used stuff out of the Carte Noire, or the Salon Nouveau box by Anna. So this is the dies, and I cut out the center, and then you end up with this piece and this piece if you line them all up. So what this skinny piece, what it gives you is for the back of my card, I cut another shadow piece that's in the die set and laid that on top of this as a border. So that'll go on the back of the card. And this one's just extra to be used later. And then I also cut a strip to put down here. And what I did was just stuck it into the edge of the embossing folder, which gives you a pattern that repeats here. Repetitive pattern really ties your piece together. So let's start gluing some stuff. So first we'll take this little box, and it's rectangular, so you just want to fold it up, and we're going to glue along this edge. And I do recommend you can use a tape, you know, one of your tapes, but if you do that, I recommend you also do the wet glue for 2 reasons. It's stronger and it'll hold, and these pieces are going to be moving, so it just works better for me if I have the wet glue and take the patience to wait for it to dry. So we have one rectangle, and you want to make sure every step of the way that things move for you, because you want a card that's moving. So there's one piece. Then one step up is this one. Same thing, it's going to form a rectangle. So we'll glue this. And the glue that I'm using here, this bottle, is art glitter glue, but I also use Barely Art glue or reptile glue, just depending upon what I can get. Because art glitter glue, you have to watch in the temperatures, because it turns funny. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is this bigger one. You want to glue to the very edge of this piece. Get a little more down here. And make sure that things are lined up straight, because that will affect how your card folds. You know, the edges you want straight and flat. And since this has a lot of movement to it, you want it right. Okay, so it's going to take a little while to dry. And then this piece is going to go right here. You can even use those little clamps. I have some of those little clamps I use sometimes for things like this. That are just from Dollar Tree, but I don't think I'm going to need them today. Okay, we're going to let this sit for a second and hold while we glue this part together. So let's say that you forgot to glue that. You get excited about the mechanism, you insert it, and you forgot to put a piece back here, or you decide later you wanted a piece. You can still, if you do that, you can still make it work. All you need to do is, you know, cut it out, and down here where there'll be something glued here. This will be glued down here. So you can just slice into this to make a space, and it's hidden behind the mechanism, so it doesn't matter. It's nothing major if that happens. And yes, I did that. And yes, it works. So sometimes we just have to, when we're crafting, stop taking ourselves so seriously, because there's always a way. And sometimes our projects have a mind of their own, and they turn out how they want. So this takes quite a bit of glue. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I appreciate each one of you that watches my videos and encourages me to do them. Means a lot. Okay, so we'll glue that down, center it. And the reason it's okay to have this cut out is because once you decorate the center part, the cutout in the back does not show. So that's set. Glue this down here. Okay. I think I'll put a little bit of tape on this part. We had a nice group gathering. I'm sorry some people couldn't make it. Where we talked, I did a demo, and people put them together, some of these cards, and I saw some nice ones. So we have a fun group. Okay, so there's that. Now this piece is going to be my back piece on it, and where I can write something. So I'll glue this edge on it. But when you glue something to the back, make sure you're not putting any adhesive like right here, because that mechanism needs to move. Like this one, I put this back here, layered it, but the glue's only on, the adhesive's only on the outside. And that's fine, because it doesn't need a lot. This little edge is going to need some, though. I sure like the needle tips on glue bottles. Makes all this fine stuff so much easier to do. So I'm thinking about how I'm going to decorate this one. I'm not going to do it on the video today, but I'm thinking this one's going to turn into an Easter card. Okay. then again, this is just this thing that I'm just gluing is what's left between these two dies. So here's the die set, and I cut this one here, the main one, this one, which is the shadow layer, and then this one. And then for the back, so you get this gap in here that cuts as that little skinny thing I just glued, and then cut this out of the white, and you will have a nice decorated place to write your sentiment. So now to put this piece in, so what you're going to do is slide it in the top slot, and then back to the front, through the bottom slot. There. Okay, so then you have that through the slot. And this piece, the bottom of this piece has these two score lines on it, the long piece. The very last one gets glued to the back. And you want this score line to match the score line in the card. And then this will get glued to this side of it. So kind of make sure that it's straight up and down. And hope my head's not in the way. Stand you up a little bit so I can make sure you're in the score line. And hold that for a second. These cards have so many uses. I did a bunch of them for Valentine's Day, but I mailed all those, so I can't show you. But if you look on my Instagram account, there's some of them on there that I did. And I posted them on the Facebook Anna Griffin groups and to my personal page. So that's what this looks like. And then this piece, you're only going to put glue like maybe an inch, inch and a half up here. Not the whole way. And this gets, then it's going to be glued to the this bottom fold up part. Like that. So I'm gonna let this dry, and I'll probably finish decorating this one off camera. And maybe I'll post it to the video later. But on this one of the things I did was to the side over here, I have additional pop-outs on each one. And all those is I cut 2 more of these, this front little rectangle, and the rectangle goes so the skinny side is up and down and the fat side is side to side. So there's one here and one on this other side, here and here, here and here. So that gives you extra dimension. When this card opens and closes, you have these that pop out. On this one, I just used the honeycombs, and I just kind of like it with extra dimension. I mean, you can use, if you don't want to mess with those, you can use just like corners in all these spaces to fill it in, or emboss this and decorate it with flatter flowers, that's hard to say. So there's that one. I have this one set up for us to do so you can see me decorate it, but it's basically the same. I cut this out, cut the center out of this, put together the pieces. This one has these extra side pieces that will pop out. I put together the backing for this the same way, and glue that together. So good. Looks like this. I'm just checking to make sure my glue is dry and that everything's working. Yeah. Okay, so it folds flat like that. The more you open and close your card, it kind of conditions the paper, and it moves easier. So let's see what I've got going on here. This piece is extra for later. I really want to put this peacock in the middle here. So I think I'm going to start with that and work on that. So if you have stickers, I recommend not taking the back off of them for this project, or else you're going to have to use cornstarch or one of those embossing buddies to prevent the rest of the edge of the sticker from sticking to the back of your project. And you don't want that to happen, somebody to try and open it and the cards stuck together, right? Okay, so there's my pretty bird on it. Glue on the fingers. So I think I want to put that there. And I think this goes there pretty well. Now this one I can take the sticker back off. This is why I can never have nails. Peeling too many stickers. Although, is there any such thing as too many stickers? No. especially if you're gluing to foil paper, like this is rose gold paper that I've got here. It takes something to make it stick to that. I've never had luck with just a tape runner or tape strips, or I guess with red line tape it might work. Okay, so we got that. So now I want to position this like right there. Okay, we'll put some, same thing with this one's supposed to be moving on this mechanism. So make sure it's upright. Hold it for a second. Let it stick. There's so many decorations that would work with this. So let's see what else I got going on here. I think I want to put these blue ones right here. Sorry if I stuck my head in there. I feel like I need to be taller to look over the top of this card. I love this style. And I forget about using it, and then every once in a while it strikes me that this would be perfect. Like today. So I'm going to want to fill in. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to use this card for, so I don't really have a sentiment, but I have a few laying here. And I think I'll wait to put that on until I know what I'm using it for. Okay, so put that there. I think that's good. Then I think maybe don't want to cover up my peacock too much, but that's kind of cool. Okay, we'll do that. Hold it for a second. And then I need to fill in some of this area, which is where I thought I'd use these roses. These roses are really pretty. At least I think they're roses. Who knows? When I'm not really sure, I just call them fantasy flowers. Silly girl, right? Have to have names for flowers. I think what fascinates me about the Art Nouveau period is that it must have been a fascinating time to live in. So much change. And the beauty of it. I mean, who wouldn't want to have known Frank Lloyd Wright? I think that would have been interesting to talk to. Maybe he's one of the people they ask you those, who would you Who would you like to have dinner with? If you could pick one person. Well, maybe I'd pick him at some point. Okay, if I put that there, that there. Almost got it covered. Let's see, I got 2 more of these. So let's do that and that. I like watching a lot of the British type mysteries, and I just flashed on, there's one called Miss Fisher, and she lived in the 20s, and I think it was the 20s, 30s, and she was ahead of her time, you know. It's pretty amazing. So, again, when you're putting these things on, make sure you aren't gluing anything to the moving mechanism, because that would be a tragedy. Although everything is fixable. That's my theory. So, I think that's pretty cool. Now let's make sure, hopefully things are dry enough. It still moves. When you put things on, you want to test and make sure you're not going over this top too much when it's closed. So you do need to keep moving it. But I think that looks pretty nice. Kind of like that. So I wanted to talk about the honeycombs. When you put those on, I recommend before you put them on, whatever shape it is, these are 2-inch ones, that you open them up ahead of time, because this paper is all stuck together, and make it move. And then I usually glue down one side, let it completely dry before I glue down the other side. So just one side goes to the bottom edge and one side goes to the back edge. And if for some reason you don't have enough room for the honeycomb you have, you can cut these and the shape will stay the same, because part of the design of this is that it will stay together. You can also, to some extent, like let's say you wanted to make this an egg shape, you could do that and it would be okay. Although they do have, you can find ones that are egg shape, you can find ones that are hearts, a lot of different ones, and there's bigger ones, but these are 2-inch in what I found. And then what I've been using on some of my cards lately are these little gems, and I really think they're pretty. And I found this little package on Amazon, and these are, they don't have adhesive backs on them, but I usually glue gems down anyway, so they hold. And they're 2mm, 4mm, and 6mm. And I kind of like how tiny they are, but then there's a little bit of shine to them. So I kind of like those. And then again on this one, this is a slimline die back here. It's the the background die. I cut out the center, which I can use for something else. And then I made sure it came all the way to the front here because I wanted that covered. And put that back to the fold. measured from here to here, which is 2.5 inches, and cut it so it left a little gap, but my extra pieces hide that. So that's the story on that one. And you can put corner pieces on this. You can add foiled pieces. They can be used for any occasion, you know, birthday one. And make sure you don't glue down the middle on your back piece. Just glue the outside edges. And, oh, I just remembered I was going to put one of the butterflies on this. This one probably won't get any gems. So again, I will post that photo of the dimensions if you want to hand cut it, and I will also post the link to Marianne's Cricut profile, so you can, well, that's kind of cute. You can follow her. She has a lot of really fun projects, and I hope you'll make some of these because they're a lot of fun. Enjoy. Thank you for stopping. Bye.